and welcome in everybody to Ragnarok Smite League Smite 1 action, and I get to be on it. That's exciting for me personally, and I'm Mal. I'm joined by Not a Valve Game. We've got Red Rosy Panda on the ones and twos. We got Skyshire Templars versus the Cyberpunk Otters. Oh, I haven't said Cyberpunk Otters in a while now. Smite 1. Oh yeah, I'm excited. I just got excited. I'm in now.
It's like a blast from the past for you right now. You've
Yeah,
been
it's
on
like
Smite 2 for so long.
It's like if you drive a spaceship you fly it past a black hole, but you're like, wait, that looks fun. So you go back.
So you go back and you get sucked right back in.
Yeah. And then you die.
Dangerous.
But
Yeah, well, we don't need to talk about that part.
it's important for the character building aspect of it.
Death? I guess so.
Yeah.
But that is a wild character building strat right there. But you know what's not wild? The fact that they're banning Amaterasu away from Snatty. Snatty is a known auto attack warrior enjoyer. Amaterasu up at the top of that list. So I'm not surprised to see that. Everything else here, pretty standard bans, at least in the Smite 1 meta right now. Chalk, debatably the best solo laner in the game. He does too much, he lives for too long, and yeah, and being insufferably tanky is pretty good. But jungle seems to be a pretty big focus here as well.
Raven.
3 bans going that way.
You did mention the Raven to me, so that'll be the first lock-in overall. Going to who you mentioned is really good in solo right now. Recently had that cleave added, so Snatty picking up a top meta pick to start things off.
Yeah, I've also seen Kernoin pilot it before in a couple of other leagues, and I know he's proficient with it. But the dual lane lockdown by the Cyberpunk Otters, Kepri Charybdis, that's pretty safe.
I do miss me some Cherry B. I won't lie to you.
As a tank player, unfortunately, I do not, because I don't like not being a tank player when she decides to press the 2 button, despite having multiple defense items. It is, Charybdis can do a lot in a late game when she gets that tank shred online, plus that second ability, makes it even easier to shred tanks, and then the Kepri makes it harder for you to kill her, or whatever they pick up later on. The Kepri is very, very dominant right now in the Smite 1 metagame, so I'm not surprised to see him get picked up so early on by the Cyberpunk Otters. Also, it is a Lament preferred pick. He does like this Kepri a lot.
Yeah, they do go way back. For Lament, I just remembered who that is. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know about the name change too for Hydra. It just didn't click for me at first. So I also kind of like the Lament versus Spirited Book matchup, because I feel like I always see those two team together in the dual lane. Yeah, the podcast matchup. It's kind of exciting. I mean, you get the green room battle in the duo lane. That's kind of fun. But just one slight thing about Charybdis. If you didn't like her in Smite 1, whenever she comes to Smite 2 with uncapped attack speed, I feel so sorry for you in particular now that you brought that up.
It's not her attack speed that is what irritates me. It's that prot shred that is just so
you combine them up. Oh, it's over.
A lightning pick on the Mammon right after they get the 2 picks.
Another character I miss.
Mammon is a fun character, a really fun character. The way she applies her damage is really interesting, and you got to play a certain way against her. And it's also level 100 Behemoth. I don't know if you've seen this guy pilot this character, but he's done some real good work with it.
Level 100 Behemoth is a name change, correct? That's
Mr. Sneaky.
Mr. Sneaky. Okay, I thought so. Yeah,
yes.
Mr. Sneaky used to cook on that Mammon. That's not far enough away in my brain that I don't remember it. I remember seeing some really fun matchups between Sunprod and Mr. Sneaky, where they kind of try and toss that pick back and forth and fight over who would get it. At the time, I think it was the Bastet. That was the other contest pick between the two.
Yes.
So I'm excited to see that back in Mr. Sneaky's hands. And a couple mid laners from the Order side for the second phase of the bans. I haven't had second ban phase in quite a while, so I almost forgot that was a thing. But that kind of limits what you can bring to the mid lane now. I mean, you have the Ra locked in if you're Skyshire, so Cyberpunk Otters, very limited pool now.
Yeah, they do have a limited pool, but Kaiba is the only player on this team that I am actually not familiar with. Everybody else in this match I'm pretty decently familiar with, either played against them or I've casted them before. Kaiba, though, kind of an unknown factor here, so we'll see what he ends up going to. Yeah, you definitely could love his work in Yu-Gi-Oh! Unfortunately, that goes over my head. I know it's a character, but that's all I can really say about that.
You nailed it. Don't worry. Good, more than
Thanks.
good enough on the
Thumbs
pickup
up.
there.
Thumbs up right there.
Yeah, if it was improv, you're getting at least a 6 out of the 10, and that's all you need in improv because the points don't matter. You know what I mean? So
W.
Wukong, the lock-in to potentially answer that Cuchulainn on the other side, going to Rascal. Now Wukong, kind of just always existing in solo unless he's horrific. Where's he at right now?
He's existing. He's pretty decent right now. A lot of solo laners like to go a damage item first, whether it be the Frostbound or Blackthorn Hammer, which I've seen come up a lot recently, or the Jotuns. And Wukong likes a couple of those, right? You could run the Frostbound on him, but you're really looking more at the Blackthorn, the Jotuns. You can even go a Soul Eater. He likes that extra damage in his build. And he also just... It's difficult to lose a lane hard on that character. While Cuchulainn has a lot of lane dominance, Wukong can kind of just push one and then push Ox, and then all right, Cuchulainn's now 3 miles away from some Wukong and now can't hit him. So it's just a safe lane for Rascal as well, and he's probably comfortable on the pick too. So it's a good dive, good matchup for him, and overall, just a really solid pickup into this Cuchulainn.
Bacchus, the next grab, and that'll be combined with the Chernabog, another character that I just miss. I mean, this is a fun matchup in duo, but late game gonna be slinging, and also worth noting too. One of my there was a while where I was casting for AGL, where Spirited Book, I felt like I was casting them basically every single weekend, and Chernabog was probably their most undervalued pick. From what I remember, my tier twos consistently yapping about then, so I'm kind of excited to see it locked in here comfortably and not seeing something like a Hachiman or something to that extent.
When I think of Spirited Book, I think of Jingwei most of the time. That is just his pick most of the time. But Chernabog, I do like the changeup. Chernabog does provide something different, and the Skyshire Templars clearly have a W key comp in mind here. The only card that really doesn't fit that too hard is Ra, but Ra's got that artillery style with that Searing Pain that can follow up on all of the dive that they have. Rounding out the draft for the Cyberpunk Otters, though, is this Agni. Agni has a level of safety that I think can help with this heavy dive. He also, great Divine Ruin Applicator, which helps with the Ra. And he will be able to survive at least a little bit longer than some other mages would be able to, just because of that mobility, the CC he has, and Khepri can definitely help him with that, and the burn on top of the Khepri would just be, a lot paired with the Charybdis as well.
Right.
There's just a lot saving them from all this momentum, the gas pedal that is the Skyshire comp.
Gas pedal is a good way to put it. With when you look at it, you're not going to necessarily get that early game aggression, but whenever there's a fight, you have so much dive in your face between the Cuchulainn, the Rav, and the Bacchus, but you can't kind of ignore that backline. You kind of get stuck playing you have to play in between the team comp of Skyshire, and whenever that happens, especially in amateur competitive, that's where you get into really messy fire giant dances, and Skyshire, they're in a position to really bait out a lot of mistakes from the Otters. So what do? What's their kind of comeback? What's their way around that fight?
For the Otters, I think realistically, you having an engage is you're gonna have Khepri Pluck or Agni Stun. Your engage is a little awkward if you're the Cyberpunk Otters. So you kind of have to wait for the Skyshires to go in and play off of that, as opposed to starting it yourself.
Well, I think we're getting closer and closer to hopping in game number 1, so let's get there soon. One I haven't gotten to say, which is the reason I'm here. Best of 3. Your Order side is that Skyshire Templars, and your Chaos side is the Cyberpunk Otters. And no surprises of where gods go from looking at it. The only thing that was maybe up in the air was I was kind of hoping to see something chaotic to throw you off, Valve. I was like, oh, maybe we get a Cuchulainn jungle here. That'd be kind of fun. But nope, the simple route for both teams.
I don't know. You've got Snatty's on a team, and Snatty usually tries when he plays competitive. It is just what he does. I mean, there's not really much. The guy likes winning. I mean, there's not really much.
Either winning or playing Amaterasu, and a lot of the time it's both.
Yeah, a real good pairing here. It looks like he's winning right now. Rascal in danger.
Speaking of the devil, Snatty trying to show some horns. One more will do it. Jump bang! First blood goes to Skyshire Templars.
We talk about Snatty and winning as a real good pairing right there. That is unfortunate for Rascal, especially giving this Cuchulainn a big start like that. You don't want to see it. And Kernoin can use that to his advantage later on, going for those blue buffs. Granted, the Wukong has a decent steal potential, but you know, Wukong from behind isn't really too threatening to the backline. That is, you know, this Ra or the fight back into the Chernobog. It's not a real good look.
Exactly. The Chernobog is the perfect call out there. Book can just kind of blow up the Wukong later. If Rascal doesn't show up to these team fights, tanky in the slightest, it's kind of over. Jungles do split on the sides. We'll see if it turns into a gank. The Robin would have a pretty decent shot onto the Wukong, but it looks like Rascal's not pushing up too far. And level 100 Behemoth, same thing. No interest. Just a simple back.
Yeah, no interest at all. Kuradal jumping in on this Charybdis. But this lane over here is a little bit difficult for Kernoin to be over in to try to get some kills, because you have the safety that the Kepri provides baseline with that Scare's Blessing when he hits 5. But Charybdis also having that 3 is just...
Ooh, gank out in mid. Kernoin? Oh, he's going to get away from this. Kaiba should be okay unless... there's no unless.
That would be ambitious if that did enough damage right there to the Agni to take him down. That beam was very close though. I thought it was.
Well, I thought the beam might hit, and then I thought Kernoin might consider just trying to step back for that one extra hit. Bluestone will be safe from Rascal, but continuing to get poked out. It's another back, this time without a TP. So as you mentioned, just a worst case scenario for this Sun Wukong. And you're getting closer to buff spawning on that right-hand side. Now Snatty might not even need any help from Kernoin. He can just kind of force them out himself.
I think what Rascal needs to do right now in this matchup is just, you can't walk up to Snatty. He is going to do exactly what he has been doing and just beat you in every fight that you've tried to take. You have to respect his damage, because you have gone damage. You've not gone a defensive item like a Glad Shield or something along those lines. You're going into the Soul Eater. I personally, when I'm going Wukong, even when Wukong was like top of the meta, this is ambitious from Kuradal right now. By the way, Lament taking it so far under the T2, and Tate's not even getting it because of how far down it is.
Speaking of being ambitious, level 100 Behemoth was exactly that, sent back to level 0, at least for the time being, as LGG Fish on the rotation smacks him with a beam. So that's 2 total kills now for the Skyshire Templars. Kuradal did get out of that, by the way, somehow. I mean, it's insane that you can just walk up over there, buy a tier 2, get a knock-up, giggle a little bit, walk away, be full health. So I guess Bacchus is just Bacchus and it's my 1 or 2.
Bacchus is, well, in that case, he found that Behemoth was behind them, so what's the threat there? He's also not going into the tower. Lament's over there under the tower, tanking 50% of his health from 2 jungle buffs, taking it under the T2. Dainty's, though, under threat. Intoxicate misses!
All that damage for Kernoin as well will force the Scarab's Blessing, but that is a victory in and of itself. So Kernoin won't force the issue, simply backs away. Considered going back for a split second, but the Cyberpunk Otters, they don't take that bait, they don't step up. Fish steps up, and Fish gets absolutely sat down in the 1v2.
That is just unfortunate. Really good spacing by Behemoth and the Agni there. The Agni knew all he had to do was get that 1 stun, and Behemoth would finish it up. And just the damage this Maman could do, even in the early game. You think about her and her late game burst potential, but this early game damage Maman could put out is something that you can't scoff at. You have to respect it, especially on a character like Ra, who doesn't have like the safety of a dash or a leap. You only got that movement speed, and Maman with T2 Doom Orb and a speed buff can certainly keep up with you.
I'm glad it's been months since I've cast my 1 and the tier 2 Doom Orb is still a play. That was always a fun one. A lot of things don't change. Tainsy, ganked by Kuradal. That knock-up won't hit in time, but Kuradal's just going to follow it through, and why wouldn't you? That Charybdis is so low. 1 more auto could do it, but able to get that distance out with the Maw. Pretty good play from Tainsy to survive there, despite how deep down the lane they were. Usually that Charybdis ult's a guaranteed getaway, but that time felt a little bit scary.
Can we see what ability Spirited Book is upgrading? I'm kind of confused as to why he chose to 2 first there. Unless it is the ability he's maxing first. No, he's maxing the 1. So upon ulting, he gets the ability reset. So I'm just curious as to why he didn't throw the 1 down and then the 2 to get that maximum damage. It's a close kill. Bit of a fight?
Kernoin kind of in an awkward spot, but wants to step up after getting CC'd out. Will still commit with Kuradal, who gets the ultimate off. Behemoth doesn't have the damage yet, but it's starting to come online, and Kernoin simply jumps to their death. Tainsy able to step in now, aggressive onto the Bacchus. Knock up with the Whirlpool into the rain fire. That's 2 dead. That makes it 3 total for Cyberpunk Otters. So that terrible early game that was looking so bad for a few seconds, usually in matchups like this, it gets out of hand. It's already starting to swing back.
I mean, right now, you play your winning side of the map for the Cyberpunk Otters. I say winning, that's a bit of a, they were getting invaded, but take the win where you can, and now you got to play your winning side. Because playing with this Wukong will eventually be Wukong, right? You don't have to walk up to this wave. You could just throw a cudgel down to clear it and run away. You don't have to fight Snatty. Just let Wukong cook. Let him simmer for a little bit. He'll eventually be tasty, right? You'll get your delicious Wukong when you need it. It's just you let him do his thing and try to get Tainsy ahead here. But it looks like Tainsy's getting gone on again by Kuradal. He does not want to leave him alone.
Oh, that knock-up hit, that play could have gone different, but it does not. Bit of a grouping on the right-hand side. Bull Demon King, I just remembered that exists in this game, and it goes down. Kernoin won't step up aggressive. We'll be able to walk away from it A-okay. But I like the call-out that you've mentioned with Snatty. Snatty's backing right now, 2 levels ahead, and had over 3,000 gold in pocket. So it's just becoming a nightmare situation to deal with this Kakolin. I mean, it's one of those things where, sure, Snatty's not 4-0, but Snatty is already kind of a raid boss.
I mean, and that's to both Rascal and level 100 Behemoth now, because he's gone the Shifter Shield first. He's got the split defense that he needs into a matchup like this because of this physical magical jungle solo combo. It is a really good pickup as well because it also goes into the offensive side of it. As his health is higher than, I believe it's 75%, you have this extra offensive power from the Shifter Shield, which makes it even more deadly for Rascal to do anything in this lane when he has no defense at all. It's right now the Soul Eater rush is something that's a bit, you could always get it a little bit later. I personally prefer getting that Glad Shield first on the Wukong, then going for that Soul Eater if you're gonna go that way. But a little blue buff invade possible here? No, it's already gone.
Big day for Rascal to get that.
Yeah.
Massive gains compared to where you were. And overall, so far, for an 8.5-minute game going into that 9 minutes, the lead is not that significant, just under 1,000 for Skyshire. We talked about the kills, and the experience is pretty even. So all in all, considering how this game has gone, I'd say impressively even. And you talked about that, credit to you. You said that when you saw the rosters, that with how players are off-rolling, like Fish over in mid, this is a very even matchup on paper. And so far, again, with the kind of one exception of solo, it's playing out that way.
Yeah, the thing is, right, you have Snatty in solo lane. He is a former SCC player. That is a tough matchup to go into if you're any player, right? Fish, though, taking a lot of damage. The beads are forced away, but not much more will come of it. It's it's rough for anybody in this league, in a lot of leagues, to play into Snatty. So, for
you mentioned this being former SCC, but you're exactly on it, because not only just that, Snatty looked fantastic in the Founders Series against some pretty big names. There was a game or two that I distinctly remember Snatty playing really well into players like Haddix and Fine OK.
Oh, Snatty, especially now that he's been grinding the game, can mess with the quote-unquote best of the game right now. A little bit of a trade back and forth here. Mamon's going in, though.
Kernoin gets the overhead kick away, gets stunned by the Tiger, plucked in and dead to the Mamon. But now you've got backup in the form of the Bacchus and Snatty. We've been talking up the raid boss. Now what kind of damage do you have with Fish here as well? Mamon still fighting, got the Scarab's Blessing too. Fish not gonna find the ult. Matter of fact, gets smacked by the cudgel. And there was nothing Snatty or Kuradal could really do. That's 2 dead so far. Now into the back line. Snatty can't find the kill on a Kaiba. Kuradal will try to run that one down, but Snatty gets picked up and goes to Behemoth. 1 pity kill will go to Kuradal before he gets plucked back too. 1 more big piece of damage could do it, but the jump away is good. Ultimately 3 for 1, favoring the side of Cyberpunk Otters.
I looking at Snatty that entire fight was, I don't know if he was trying to position better for a better ultimate, but he transformed as he was trying to set up for that, Mortal Spear of Pain. right? That could call in base form ultimate, and then he had to go into rage form, and he just seemed like it was so awkward for him to play that fight, and it really was. What are you supposed to do in that situation when they're split over the wall? You can't root over the wall. Your teammates are kind of running a couple different directions from you, but Fish can't run towards you towards that Wukong, because the Wukong, as you saw, absolutely exterminated him. There was nothing he could really do about that. So it was just such an awkward fight for the Templars there, and I think that was. I feel like everybody in their positioning there just made it so unoptimal for Snatty to play that fight, and it was just so difficult to make a decision.
You call that perfect, because it did look like there was a genuine moment where I feel like from what I've heard, Snatty's usually fairly chill and calm, but there had to be a, guys, what am I supposed to do? Everyone's going a different direction on me. Can one of my backliners be in sight? Can one of my frontliners help me set up beside me? It looked like that, like the John Travolta meme. I mean, that was tough to play around. And even then, there was a moment where I thought maybe Snatty could find a pick onto Kaiba, who got the dash away. So just a tough overall fight for the Order side. You got to clean it up from here.
Yeah, it's got to be a bit cleaner in that situation. And I think with how, I don't know if you've watched Snatty play the game before or looked at any of his content before. Snatty likes to talk. He is a
talk but chill. That was my impression.
He's got a PhD in yapology. Man likes to talk. As Mr. Play-by-Play was his Smite 2 team name.
It's true.
Represent that. He is a vocal player.
I guess you got to keep in mind that I've heard comms from teams like Smoke Break, so in comparison, Snatty is basically Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers. Oh no, I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's tough out there. Kernoin's already ulted to get away. Cural's jumping in, knocks up 3. The Templars want to fight into this, but they got to find more. Snatty trying to make something happen, but can't find Behemoth. The beam makes the Scarab's Blessing proc. So Kaiba back in this fight. Behemoth still in. Tainsy will be the one that dies so far to SB. Otters are backed up, but they only lose the 1. And considering how that was going with that reset on the Kaiba, that could have got a lot worse.
Rascal really hesitated to go under that tower there. Kernoin didn't have his kick. Kernoin definitely would have gone down. Colonel might not have, but Behemoth is looking to make that not be a mistake that they make, but
so
Behemoth. Yeah. The hand's going right into his face right there. That was a lot of hesitation from Rascal there. He had the safety to go for that. It's got to be some sort of either it wasn't called that Kernoin didn't have the kick, or it just was hesitation, too much hesitation, doubting his damage. He definitely could have gotten it. Templars get a Gold Fury because of it. Not that it was just directly because of that one pick, but it definitely would have helped to get one there. It's a bit cleaner in the communication. It's got to be there.
Yeah, it was, and it's a bit of a trampoline for the charts, too. The last time I spoke about it, this game was so even, and while the kills have remained that way, and for the most part, experience is starting to lean that way, at this point of a game, that's 1,600 gold, 1,400 kind of bouncing around. That's pretty significant power spikes around that level 15 mark.
Yeah, right now is the point where you kind of see the big differences in the build with these sort of like XP and gold leads, because you feel the abilities being finished up and leveling, and you feel the amount of, you know, damage that they're able to do, especially on picks like Ra or picks like Raven, and you start getting absolutely chunked down. I actually do want to, I'm interested in seeing the Shadow Drinker on Raven. It's something that in recent times has really been picked up by a lot of junglers, just because it's a good stat stick. I mean, 45 physical power, 10 flat pen, and 10% movement speed. And we know Smite players do like to move fast. It is it's just a solid stat stick, and I'm not surprised he couldn't get it.
Oh, all right. That's a bit tough there for Behemoth. Does have the Scarab's Blessing. I was so surprised just because the damage happened so quickly onto the Maman. It's still able to get away. And matter of fact, the Scarab's Blessing obviously helped to get away. It kind of stops everybody from wanting to damage you, but wasn't even procced.
Yeah, I think that proccing it there and then going on Lament right after, just going on him and waiting for Behemoth to respawn would have just been better, because then you just get Behemoth. It's a bit of doubt on, oh, Khepri, we don't attack the target. They're low. We don't attack the target. But right there, how is he getting away from you? Right? You can cover the option on the dash, and you can just make sure that they don't get away. You don't get a kill on the Khepri for sure, but like you can definitely make sure the Mammon goes down. But 2 ultimates burned, a big resource in that Scarab's Blessing, but there's really not much to fight over right now. Unless we group up and do something weird like push mid tower. But I don't think either ADC wants to do that. Both of them just finished their Rage, so they might be looking to fight. A recent buff to Rage does mean that this item is probably going to be picked up more. I believe they added 5 power to each stack. It is a 5 physical power to each stack.
Wow.
It is a pretty good item. I like the big red numbers too.
Ooh. Mamon's lurking in duo onto Spirited Book, who does not have the ultimate online. Tainzy will pick the fight early. It's going down quick though, so Behemoth's got to act fast. Aegis already down. Book able to get the kill through it. Not fast enough, so it's a trade, but that's a bit tough when your jungler was rotating so early into the fight.
Yeah, that's really tough. I think Rascal's got or not Rascal. That's the wrong lane, wrong side lane. Tainzy has to kind of space that a bit better because Chernobog's looking for him, but Kaiba takes down Kernoin while Kuradal's being chased down here. This looks fun if you're a supporter.
Yeah, does get the jump off at least, but still being followed through, and why not? You've got Lament who's just so tanky. The ult's been committed, and Behemoth can't get it. Now you've got Snatty here too, and you've separated away from your support, and Behemoth gets smacked! Oh man! Fish just firing on all cylinders in that one, and Lament will go down next. Snatty picks that one up. What a play.
Listen, I made a joke before the set started saying Fish being in mid would be very, very, that's not good, right? But clearly, he just blasted that Mamon's face off, and that's also telling me to shut up. This guy, he knows his laser chicken. This guy can shoot some beams real good and take down who he needs to. I mean, I think every raw ult he's thrown out has hit at least one person, if not 2. This guy's been shooting his shots and has been doing it well.
Primal Fury pulled by the Templars. Tainzy is aware, but is aware and alone. This Primal should go down for free as Kernoin will play the great job of spacing it off. Also up, I haven't got to say this in a while, the Stigi B. That'll be rotated over to. The Otters look like they're more interested in fighting this one, but they've got to play it correctly. Kaiba gets some damage onto Kuradal, which won't be enough. Kernoin, that was plenty of damage, more than enough. Now force away the Templars. The Otters get control of the Stigi B pit.
I jinxed it. Fish missed a snipe.
You
I was
did.
talking about
Direct
Snatty's
caster's curse. And Snatty looking for more, but needs more. Turns, sees a low Rascal, but doesn't have the opportunity there. The crits from Book are really hidden. And still, the Stygian Beacon has not been captured. Kaiba gets hit hard by a beam. 3 are stunned in place. Damage from Tainzy. It's coming out, but it's just not enough. A pluck back from Lament, but Lament is the one going down to Spirited Book. Rascal goes in from the side, doesn't find much from it. Behemoth looks for an opportunity. The snipe from Fish misses, and Snatty goes down, and Behemoth able to get away as well. A really tough fight from the Templars. It felt like every new beat of that fight, and just none of them were going their way.
Yeah, it really just... Snatty was trying to go in, and then there was no follow-up. Nobody could really follow up on that. And then it was Tainzy getting absolutely big numbers in. Everybody had to back away, and it just kind of all was not coming together for the Templars. It just didn't really work out. And I wish I could put more analytical mindset to it, but it really just did not come together. The Lego bricks don't fit together right there, and that's just what happened.
Yeah, that was just Yoda death sound.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Look at this though. Kuradal's trying to make them reset this. Spirited Book picked it up.
So far, I will say, Book has been really clean with target selection, be it God or objective so far in this game. And I think that's a lot of where that gold lead that's still there for the Templars is coming from. We've seen it at the Primal. We've seen it in fights where Book is able to land crits. And you kind of saw it from Tainzy, right? Well, when you're not doing as much damage as the opponent ADC in team fights, but you still have more, how do you kind of adjust that? And how do you change that frame of mind to maybe change up the target selection?
Realistically, I think you have to assess who is doing the most in those fights and then seeing, all right, this is who I have to take down. Especially in the ADC perspective, you have to look to see who is doing the most or who's preventing my other players from doing what they need to do. Because if it's a tank that needs to, let's just say this Wukong or the Khepri, right? We need to take them down first so we could do it. right? Or if it's Maman, I have crit. I can start hitting her and hitting her hard. We need to focus her down. If she gets CC'd once, Chernobog has her dead to rights. So we need to say, Curdle, can you stun Maman? Or can we get her knocked up so we could get the crits on her and we could take her down? It's a recognition of what you need or what needs to be taken care of, and then a sort of team effort. It actually brings up another point I did want to mention is
Please.
Snetty and Spirited Book both are very talkative players, and I was concerned with the Skyshire Templars with this now roster. Is it too many cooks in the kitchen? Because I know Snetty and Curdle both are pretty talkative. Spirited Book is also a very vocal ADC, so if it's too many voices, that may be a problem. But I wonder which one really is. Snetty, I feel like, is the shot caller just in general once he's in the game, but it is. We'll see if that does become a factor later on.
So far, it's been good, and I guess that goes a lot to what you've been talking about, what was noticeable in the last fight. Who's doing the damage where is that selection going? That makes me a little bit concerned, though, for Cyberpunk Otters once we get to Fire Giant dances, because that's where the difference is, right? That's a difference that's always been talked about between pro play and amateur play, is what do you do once you start tangoing around fire? If you have somebody who understands how to play that correctly, it's kind of just curtains. One big pickup here, though, for the Otters is the Oni Fury. Brings that gold lead ever so closer, gets them the buff minions, but what were we just talking about? I'll even pat myself on the back. Fire Giant instantly pulled by the Templars.
You were talking about how you've been doing Smite 2 for a while. This is not Smite 2 Fire Giant. It does not go down as quickly. But Curdle, looking to not go down either. Flop away. They're fine right now. But that Fire Giant does not go down as quickly as it does in Smite 2. They cannot shred it that fast. Spirited Book does have crit though, but he wasn't there. They're not really getting through it that quickly. So I feel like that point of deciding what you need to do in that situation. Get that right T1. Get something. Or you could even go for that T2 if Spirited Book is there, right? But if it's just, let's say, Snatty, and I believe it was Kernoin that was there, they could go for it. But Snatty!
Blocked. Bombs on. 4-man knock-up, and the Templars are ready to follow up. They didn't hesitate even a second after that play from Snatty. They take out Behemoth, and the rest of the Otters back up instantly. But Curador was left behind, plucked back, and picked up on by Rascal. Only one pick from a play like that, and from that instant response. That's shocking.
Curdle, I think, really just was not able to get away because either he did not know the call was to back up sooner, or it was he was already in there, and it's just a point where I can't get out. I'm done. Like, it's just... I feel like a common case of it is Tsukuyomi, when you're trying to ult away from something, and you hit somebody, and it's, I have to go in here because you hit somebody. That is just a situation where he was stuck and he could not go anywhere else. Kepri plucked him. He doesn't have a way to CC immune it, so he was just kind of, you know, cooked. That Ansile was down, so no way for him to get it. But Kernoin looking for a steal.
Pyro let go of. The ult's not going to hit because it was let go, but the Templars are able to grab it. They get the steal after the Otters kind of just mishandle the Pyromancer and were afraid to take the fight. Rascal will have to back, and the Templars begin pulling fire. An early bomb placed doesn't do a lot. You'd said it before, Valve. You're still right about it. This fire going down slow just now at half health. The Otters getting closer. Templars about to blow it up. It's all in the Fire Giant pit, and the Fire Giant goes to the Templars. Snatty with the first pickup. The Templars split. They take two fights. Rascal being zoned out by Fish and Book, but this fight's looking okay, and Rascal's able to find one and dash away, but Snatty's still swinging to the left and finds a double, but Kernoin was picked up through it, so a 2 for 2. Fire does go to the Templars, but it only remains on 3.
That's a little bit of... I'm sorry, I just had to process what was going on there between the two supports. They were like dancing a little bit, but that was... The fight there was just, Rascal did exactly what he needed to do, and that was, I'm keeping the carries out, you guys do what you need to. Right? We took down 2 picks because of it. Rascal gets one himself, which is really, really good. And that is, I think, in part because of how much damage he has in this build. Granted, it's not traditional, like, power, other than the Soul Eater. You've got the Redstone, which gives you prots based on, you know, hitting people. You've got this Glad Shield, which is pretty, it's a half defense, half damage item with the, you know, enhancement with the protections you have, the extra damage it gives, plus the Stone of Binding, which that procs on his second ability, it procs on his third ability. It's a lot of pen that he has from that item, and he's able to just go through that Ra really, really easily. Even through that third ability on Ra, that extra protections it gives, and the healing it was giving, he was just able to go right through him, and Spirited Book wasn't able to hit him, wasn't able to keep up with him enough, like, hit enough auto attacks to kill him in time to save fish, and he was able to slip away.
You got to keep it clean. You said that earlier, and it all seems to continuously come back to that. All the talent in the world, but if you can't keep a clean, coordinated fight, it'll blow up in your face. Primal pulled softly, let go. Templars look for the engage onto Rascal, who's taken 0 damage, essentially. Kernoin still looking to force the issue onto the Wukong, has to step away. The Otters looking for a go button. They've got Curadoll on their backline, seemingly unbothered by it, because they can run down the backline of the Templars. And it's a triple kill for Behemoth. Right through it. Doesn't matter none. You can send your front line at us all you want. We've got Behemoth, and he's smacking like a level 100 raid boss. Tainsy will steal the Quadra, but the damage is done. Only Curadoll stands.
Curadoll also stayed at, I think, not lower than 95% health that entire fight. They completely ignored him. What threat does he pose right now? Curadoll just sold all of his items. He knows the game is over. He knows the game is over. He's switching to damage. He's pulling the awesome Jake strat, bro.
This is so awesome, Jake coded. In for the defense, already dead. Game number 1. We'll go to the Cyberpunk Otters.
Oh, he almost awesome jaked it right there. He sold 3 items to get that Om Shard to try to get involved. Oh my goodness. But right there, they just ignored Curadoll, and Behemoth and Rascal just killed 3 people by themselves. There's got to be a response to that just hard dive right there. I understand Box is not really just running all over them.
That was a tough end. I mean, Templars had it's a little bit much to say control of that game, but it felt like it was their game to lose for a lot of it, just based off of how the team fights looked. And for it to kind of just blow up so quickly felt out of character for the rest of the game. But I think you called it perfect, and it was feeling very obvious in the fight in some ways, where it just felt like the Otters realized we don't care if they dive us. We just go kill their backline. They've got nobody to help it.
I do think that there's more than just they had no peel, right? We had the gas pedal comp, but we weren't pressing the gas pedal. We were hesitating. What's the point of a gas pedal if we're not going to use it? The car doesn't move forward if we don't press the gas pedal. We gotta use that Chernoboggle. We gotta get the Robin involved. And, okay, Ra might die, right? But if we kill the entire enemy team, it's fine if Ra goes down. Right? We gotta use this comp the right way, and unfortunately the Templars just kind of didn't do that. They just tried to play it a bit too, more traditional. We're not trying to dive you, we're trying to play it with the mid laner plays with the ADC, and we're standing together to make sure we're safe, and that's just not what their comp is.
It's not. You really, I will say, you spelled out the game very, very perfectly, and I think the objectives are, if you were to go back through, do a VOD review, check the tape kind of thing, if you were to look at the objectives, I think that's where your breakdowns of the fight are the most evident. And hey, knowing the players that are on the side of the Skyshire Templars, maybe that's exactly what they'll do. But the answer to if they'll VOD review, the answer to if there's changes, all that cool stuff, that's not till game number 2. And before game number 2, we need a quick break. So don't go anywhere on Ragnarok Smite League. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome on back. I wasn't lying. I said game 2 was on the other side of the break, and here we are, game number 2 between the Skyshire Templars and the Cyberpunk Otters. I'm still Mel. I'm still joined by not a Valve game, and Red Rosy Panda is still making production look great, and we're still banning Terra first.
I know that's a comfort pick for Lament. He does like this Terra, and it's also just a good support pick. So I'm not surprised to see them just taking it away, making him go to something else. Granted, that Kempery looked pretty good last game, so you might want to take that out too. Amaterasu, response ban. I explained this before. Snatty, auto attack warrior. They go hand in hand.
Yep. Never want to let Snatty have that. I mean, that was something that we even saw getting taken away in Founders, like we were talking about earlier. And that was from teams where usually they don't care too much about signature picks because everybody can kind of play at that level. But even there, the Amaterasu was a no-go. But what's an interesting no-go here is the Skyshire Templars say, no, Maman, we want nothing to do with what level 100 Behemoth was pulling out in the late game.
I mean, yeah, that guy literally won the game for them last time. The damage he put out was absolutely insane. And he wasn't even full build. Level 100 Behemoth also, I have one distinct memory of him soloing a fire giant with that character. It was, I don't. That is this guy's a powerhouse on the pick, so take him off of it, make him play something else. The Robin taken away as well. I don't think the Templars want to go to it, but they don't want to give it away. Chalk, not surprised with that ban, so we'll see what they go for first. I'm really thinking that they are going to look, maybe just swipe this Kepri away, but that really doesn't sound like a Kuradal pick to me. But I'm sure he's capable. He's a capable support, but I don't know. Kepri on Kuradal, I don't know.
And you don't want to give any new opportunity, because if you give the Kepri away to Lament, you're also sort of helping out level 100 Behemoth, who was still a problem child for you in game 1. Even if it's on a different pick, if you give a life reset to anybody, that's tough. Executes are always an option, but from what we were talking about prior to the game, again, full disclosure, usually you don't hear casters say this, but Smite 1 knowledge, not there at the moment. I feel like executes aren't in the most amazing spot right now in Smite 1.
Achilles having a 35% execute is really stupid. I'm gonna be honest, but
so we got
the
one.
rest of them, we got one really good one. But Sobek is the first pick. He doesn't have an execute in this game, but that is more of a Kuradal pick.
Darn.
That is more of a Kuradal pick to me. An aggressive support that gets in there and is irritating. Kuradal loves to be irritating, and that's exactly what it does. Sobek does exactly the irritating thing. Fits Kuradal's MO.
It does, but speaking of fitting an MO, Kepri goes right back to Lament, which, I mean, you talk about a comfort character. This is sort of the example that you can think of. If I know this was one thing that surprised me when I learned. There are people who don't really play in the amateur leagues who watch most of the amateur leagues, and they know of people's signature picks. Looking at LGG Fish in the mid lane, there's somebody I know who talks often about how much they liked watching Fish play the Mercury in jungle in earlier seasons of different amateur leagues. So it's all there, right? But for Lament to get that pick again, I don't know. It's scary for me, and especially when you're already down 0-1, it just leaves so much room for Behemoth to be a little bit more aggressive, I think, in their selection, but really for everybody. And it makes me wonder if we'll see that Achilles that you touched on, because I feel like I've seen Statty play a pretty good Achilles a time or two.
It might be, but this pick doesn't surprise me at all. I'm surprised it took them so long to decide it, though. The Charybdis Kepri lane did well last time. I don't know why you would change it up. Make them change it. Make them force you to change it up. Just keep running it back. You've got a ton of safety over there. I wouldn't be surprised to see Snatty go to the Achilles, but he also might just go back to this Cucullin. The Cucullin did look good. Yeah, it did. It did look good. There was the one fight where he felt like he had to like go walk back and forth through a door, which was Fire Giant Pit. But other than that, it looked incredible. This Yu Huang though, and the real lock-in. This Fish better go nuclear on this pick. I've got to say that.
Did look good on the Raw, and Yu Huang was banned in game number 1 in the second phase. It was actually banned by the Templars. They didn't want to give it away, the Cyberpunk Otters. So Fish locking it down this time. That means the Raw is still in play. That's a route you want it to go. Hachiman, speaking of comfort picks, I even mentioned it in game 1 as being one of the picks for, I mean, every amateur ADC to ever exist, sure, but still really good on Spirited Book in particular.
To give you said before that you're kind of out of the Smite 1 loop of things because you've been so focused with Smite 2. Hachiman never got bad. A lot of amateur ADCs I think stopped playing him because they were bored of playing him. He's still really
How many
good.
MVPs can you win in Sparta playing Hachiman kind of vibe?
Yeah, that is pretty much that. They hit it right on the nose right there. People got bored of playing Hachiman. He's still really powerful. The Kalina pickup, that's got level 100 Behemoth written all over it. I mean, he's kind of a
actually I have some lore of level 100 Behemoth with this pick in particular. It was a Mr. Sneaky 4. There was also Mr. Sneaky 1 through 5 in that game.
Yes.
And F. Dot was really impressed by that Kalina to a point of that was probably the thing he talked about the most during that set, and I'll always remember that from Mr. Sneaky 4. So to see it locked in here, that's a little worrisome, especially when they were having a pretty fantastic game number 1.
Yeah, the thing is with Kalina, what it can do in certain matchups, and when given the opportunity, is be just so irritating. The one concern I have is the amount of CC that Cyberpunk Otters are going to draft, because Cleanup has Deafen, but okay, right? That's and a slow, but there's really not much CC on that character. Agni does help with the CC a bit, but I do want to see a soul laner that provides a bit more CC in that category, so they have something that the jungler would lack normally, or wouldn't lack normally. But the Skyshire Templars do have their 2 picks here. It's going to probably be solo and jungle. I don't know what Snatty's going to look at here. He might not want to go back to the Cucullin. Wukong is out of the picture, and a lot of junglers are out of the picture. So we'll have to see. I'm curious.
A lot of options you can go for sure. I do like your call out of a lack of CC from Cyberpunk Otters, because one thing there was a lot of in game 1, and looks like there could be a lot of in game 2, granted depending where these next 2 picks go for Skyshire, is dive. And the answer to dive is to lock in CC. But if you already have no CC and there's more dive to be locked in, you're really backing yourself into a corner if you're the Otters.
Yeah, I'm still. I feel like the pinnacle, like what is going to define what this team comp does is how this draft goes in terms of like what jungler are you picking, because your jungler kind of really decides what you want to do. Like Mr. Sneaky here wants to sneak in and out of fights. He doesn't want to be the one to start them. He doesn't want to be the one to be in the front. He wants to be on the side. He wants to slip in and out of those walls, do the damage that way. Serket, though, wants to find this Kalina off to the side and absolutely destroy her. All right. All right. Okay.
That's hilarious.
So, a long time ago, you told some lore before, a long time ago. I'm going to tell you some not a Valve game lore, right? Real quick. I was talking about Thanatos solo back when the Bologna Jing Chen meta was a thing in like season 2. Thanatos solo, I was raving about it, how he had a good matchup into Bologna. A little while later, still playing Thanatos solo, Allegiance gets dumpstered by Sanguine because of a Thanatos solo. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, Jormungandr is the pickup for Rascal here.
So we hate fun.
Yeah, we absolutely despise it. And Thanatos into Jormungandr, you have a big target hit with those scythes, but also I feel like that's just such an easy lane to gank for Serket. I really don't like this Jormungandr pick. I feel like you just get absolutely mangled by the solo jungle combo on Skyshire here. I was a little taken aback by the combo, but now that the Jormungandr has been picked, I just feel like it's cool. Like I'll take those free kills. You got the execute for the Capri too, and it's not one that can be cleansed like Alquang's. It's a interesting little thing here. I wonder if Snatty's gonna take the Circuit. He's been doing an A to Z solo lane series, so maybe he's gonna put a
Ooh, what a
Circuit in
fire
here.
episode to have one happen while you're playing an amateur competitive set.
He just put out Ganesha, so he's a little far from Circuit.
Yeah, you can get ahead of it though.
You could be ahead of the curve.
It's not like Smite 1's going to change that much by the time he's through the letters at this point, realistically speaking.
It's not like you're gonna add more letters to it, you know? Like,
yeah, I mean, that we know for sure, you know?
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited to see... first of all, I'm very proud that I accidentally kind of spoke this Thanatos into existence out of ignorance. That's fun for me. It's always fun to be, you know, dumb but mistakenly smart. But I'm also just kind of hoping it goes to Snatty, because with how Snatty was playing the Kakulin, I feel like if you're playing a more dive-oriented Thanatos, I feel like Snatty could be a big-time playmaker, more so than we're used to seeing Snatty do already. And you have the answer to the Kepri that we were worried about. You also have something that is just kind of becomes a terrorist for Agni to deal with, realistically speaking. That's kind of a nightmare for if you're an Agni. To have a more tanky-oriented Thanatos just diving you on repeat in the backline as you're trying to press 4.
Yeah, that is scary. That is really scary. But we'll see if Agni is terrifying. Find out. It is.
Let's go.
Okay.
Color me excited. Game 2 now. Skyshire Templars, Cyberpunk Otters, and Thanatos Solo. Valve, Thanatos Solo, starting Warriors Axe. What kind of build are you expecting? What kind of fight are you expecting out of this Thana?
Right now, Thanatos really is going to get absolutely shoved into this tower by Jormungandr. I mean, there's really not much you could do about that. But after a certain point, he's either going Frostbound or he might go Dawnbringer. With the recent changes to that item, it is absolutely broken. And we discussed this before. Snatty likes to read. And he also likes to write. He likes to read, and he sees all the things that that this Dawnbringer item now gives you. And let me buy that. That's pretty good. You know, recent changes to it.
In his younger days, Snatty was a poet. You could see him looking out the window on early mornings.
Both of us, I think. I don't know how old you are, but
how
I'm 25.
old do you think I am, Val?
I think you're 26, 27. I don't know.
I'm 28.
There you go. Boom. You look younger than you are. That'll
The-
flatter you
yeah,
someday.
I was gonna say the Unk comments have never been a joke, unfortunately, for my old ass. But no, I do like where you're taking us with the Thanatos, and it will be the thing to watch. But what you can add on to that, if you want to just really make life bad for Snatty, just keep on ganking, keep that pressure out. You already can't clear. If you're slowing down, okay, that scythe was kind of gross though. If you're slowing down Snatty's response, which is to just kind of wait out the Jormungandr, it gets even worse.
He's also using my favorite Thanatos skin, by the way. I just
that skin is gas.
It's very old, but I love it. It is so good. The voice, just the animations it has, the little trail that flies behind you when you use the 2. Kleena sat there. This is such a level 100 behemoth move. A typical Mr. Sneaky gank. Snatty in real good danger right now.
Yeah, the scythe will look cool and give some extra damage to the stats, but Snatty will go down. But back to the skin, obviously more important than the First Blood. It's a lot like the tier 5 Thor skin, just without the anime protagonist, when the skin doesn't look as cool.
So better?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's everything that skin is, but better, and nobody wants to talk about it. But I'm glad you have the courage to.
I'm glad I do have the courage to say what needs to be said a lot of the time when it comes to, especially when it comes to Smite. Snatty, though, has the courage to fight into this Yorm.
No ult either, so later, Snatty. Tough start, to say the least. I mean, you already had... I mean, Behemoth pitched a tent and was just kind of hanging out there like it was an EDM festival. And Snatty is the way too drunk concert goer, now down 0-2 to start this game off. And based off everything you've been describing for Solo, this is somehow worse than any worst-case scenario could have looked for this Thanatos.
I actually don't think it could be worse because he used his teleport to get there. Oh, it definitely could. But this is really, really bad. He used his teleport to get back to lane, only to instantly die again. It's real bad. And now this Bull Demon will be picked up by the Cyberpunk Otters. But using your teleport and then almost instantly dying again is terrible. That dash was caught?
Is he dead? So far, Kaiba's low, but still not dead. Gets caught, though. And the dueling dragons make Kaiba no more. Snatty to the sky to follow out. Lands down on Behemoth. Gets the stun, but has no follow-up damage. In the meanwhile, in the duo lane, there was a pick over there as well. That evens up our scoreboard 2-2 as we come up on 4 minutes.
Yeah. That was just a really good... the Colonel Wayne absolutely fried Kaiba there. With the interrupt on the dash, forcing the beads, and then it was just able to be cleaned up. Fish had a great ultimate doing damage to Kaiba there, and I believe he caught Behemoth on the side with it. Didn't get the push, but got it with good damage. And that was just Yu Huang being Yu Huang there with all the damage he can do.
Level
and then
7
Snatty was
already,
able
wow.
to... Yeah. This character's scary. Really scary. The amount of... I feel like you could be a tanky solo laner in the late game. This has happened to me before. You get hit by one Yu Wong one, and you lose 50% of your health. That character, not fun to play into. He's got a ton of safety, he's got a ton of damage, and he just blows people up. But that really helps Snatty reestablish himself in this lane. He didn't get a kill like he wanted to, but he got the assist, and that helps him. Because this Jormungandr, having the electric start he did, is really not good for the Thanatos in this lane. But now Kernoin hopefully can make his way over. It looks like we're doing a Mr. Sneaky move here for sure, going back over to solo side.
XP camp will go to Kernoin. Will he keep his life rooted, but able to get away? Really, really good way of controlling Behemoth there and Lament, making them get a little smooch before they decide to take him down. Saves him significantly, but where do you go from here? You've got Curadol, you've got Fish, who's aware of a lot of action could take place in right. Snatty's back in lane, and BDK is about to spawn. I guess it depends how antsy we're feeling, and looks like neither side's feeling that anxiousness to get a fight going for the BDK.
I'm anxious to see someone build Dawnbringer in one of these games. Snatty
I know
with
you were
Blackthorn
telling me
Hammer.
about it, and I was waiting for it.
It's such a good item for a solo laner to buy. I don't. It's just like there's so many good things. He went Blackthorn Hammer, which gives you some power. It gives you some health. The mana might as well be a dead stat on Thanatos. I really don't think you need it. Granted, he uses mana in this game. He doesn't use it in Smite 2. That Bull Demon is likely going to be gone. Snatty gonna get knocked up here. Are they going on him?
Snatty does get some damage across, which will help him get away. If he was lower, they might commit. Snatty's still lurking. There's 4 people there, and Snatty's still standing up to the sky. Drops down on Lament for more damage. I'm shocked, 1, Snatty went in, but 2, the Otters are kind of just walking away. There was 1 singular Thanatos. They have no wards on that high right mid side, so they couldn't have known that Snatty was as alone as we knew he was. But still, come on.
I am shocked that he was allowed to walk away from that.
That's crazy.
He's almost dead
Win.
again.
Mr. Sneaky Behavior jumps into duo. Tainsy's so dead. That's tough.
I mean, that's kind of ideal because of how much was committed on solo side and how many people were there. Kernoin just took the opportunity.
That's one of those
to go over.
we have to kill him here calls.
Yeah, no, 100%. And we're using the knowledge we have just from visuals to make the good plays. We're rotating over to duo side and punishing the ADC who, granted, he wasn't walking up out of his safe spot, but we have the ability to get away, and Snatty does not know. Oh, boy.
Huh. Well, that's tough. Bit of a diff in solo so
You
far.
know what would have helped? Having
But-
10% more protections
Yes, that's valid.
for
But
existing.
what's crazy is I feel like we're still going to see Snatty make some good plays. My question to you now, though, what does Yorm do with the 3-0 here? What's your ideal kind of pathing around for the Yorm? We're getting closer to 8 minutes, so you've got Gold Fury up and you've got map to control. And how much do you continue to bully this Thana down before you start moving on to bigger and better things?
Right now, you're using it to play around these bull demons, and then you're going to try to rotate into fights to go to Gold Fury. That teleporter pad comes up at 8 minutes. So you take that, and you start using it. I believe he has beads and not teleport. So he doesn't have that same level of mobility, but start using this Jormungandr. Play your winning lanes. Get the objectives that are over on that side. Get some invades off. Do something to make this Jormungandr's lead an asset for you. Don't let him just, okay, yeah, he's cooking in lane. He's gotten 2 solo kills. But why is Kurt all allowed to do this? Where are we posturing to that Kurtal is just allowed to do this? Why is Kernoin allowed to do what he's doing right now? We have a winning lane over here. We got to be able to make it so that coming over to this side of the map, especially with the Jormungandr as fed as he is, to be a terrible decision for the Skyshires.
Yeah. Plus, cooldown buff went to Snatty during all the posturing, so Snatty's got more farm in pocket that otherwise he couldn't get, and now all the Templars are here for the BDK. Dragons out, should have gone to Templars. The fight might go to the Otters. They're at least looking to force something out of it. They got a pull on the Curadoll. Do they have a kill? Snatty's still lurking to the side. Could go in if there's an overcommit. If he lives first, he got caught to the side. Down to 1 HP and caught with some spit from the Jormungandr. Will go down, but Kernoin a jump, a blink forward. Looks for Behemoth, can't find it. Meanwhile, SB with a solo kill on the left-hand side as the rest of the Otters get away. So funny enough, despite the overcommit, some might feel it's a 1-for-1 across the whole map. I thought that Otters were going to find 2 picks. Then I thought they were all going to die.
I at least they did something with the people going on that side of the map. I just feel like the amount of respect that they're showing the Skyshires right now with how fed this
missed opportunities.
Is. Yes. And Jormungandr. Definitely. Can we see Golden Hand so we can see Jormungandr, how much money he's sitting on right now? He can finish that item. I assume it's going to be it's either ISO or it's going to be the damn it, I don't remember the item name. The other scepter, the other item, the one that makes you do damage to yourself if you cast an ability. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me right now. It's not in Smite 2, so I don't remember. But
that's why I'm no help to you. Usually I'd bail you out here and I'd be, you'd be like, wow, I love casting with Valen, but right now you're on an island and I'm so sorry.
I like casting with you regardless of whether or not you can help me in these situations. Don't worry. I just feel like finish your item. Try to use these advantages. I understand you don't have like teleport, but you have the opportunity to just outclear Snatty and then reset. You're resetting now, I hope. No, you're going to blue buff. You're trying to wait. You're grading till 12. All right. Well, now do
4 right on BDK. Snatty is going to be aware of this. And
Gold Fury.
Right on cue. Templars over to the Gold Fury. Val saw it just as well as Snatty. The solo brains kicking in. Gold Fury down to half health. Tainsy is aware and will at least attempt to see if there's a way to get him for a steal, but Kernoin will shut it down. The Gold Fury goes to the Templars. Tainsy might go down as well as Kernoin's chasing it out, jumps in and runs into the Maw. So won't find the pick, but Gold Fury, that's the win you need there. Because for coming up on 11.5 minutes, to not only be close to tie, but to be in the lead if you're the Templars, with somebody on your team who's been 0-4 and having a horrific laning phase, the passivity is just equaling losing for the Otters.
Yeah, it really is. Also, that doesn't build out of that trait. It's E-Staff. I'm losing my mind here. But it is, I know exactly what happened there in their mind. Snatty saw there was 4 people, and he said, go gold, I have 4. But he said it in a softer tone. He doesn't sound like me. But right there, kill. That is just a clean kill. That is just a clean pickup on the gold, but Kurtal may need some help.
Does go the high route to try to get away, so we'll run around the Otters for this.
Giving up. They're giving up.
Kurtal will probably either be, just back. All right. Okay, sure.
Why?
Kernoin caught him mid? Can they find this? No, they can't. That is so bad for the Otters. I mean, usually words like so bad, you're supposed to leave reserved for the analyst, right? But that was kind of just crazy. At least you get the Stygian Beacon, but I don't know. I feel like letting Kurtal get out with no resistance there and then also not being able to find the pick in mid is just a disastrous combo.
There is no harm in letting Lament just chase him. Even if it's just him, like, it doesn't matter. Don't let Kurtal back for free there. I understand that Lament's a little behind. Dueling Dragons comes out off the mark.
Hopefully that handled the ghost that Fish was so afraid of.
Yeah, Casper is not so friendly anymore. That's a little dangerous now.
Casper is in a body bag.
Damn. Anyway, Kernoin getting gone on here. It is I just feel like coming on this side of the map if I'm Kernoin is just I don't want to do it, right? Because this is clearly he has a different mindset because we're looking at Rascal now, but it's just Well, I don't know. We're sitting on our hands if we're the Cyberpunk Otters right now. We didn't do anything with the solo lane lead, and now we've lost a Gold Fury, and now we're letting Thanatos get back into this game. They picked up Bull Demon.
And you wanted to see the Yorm use that teleporter at 8 minutes. We're coming up in 14, and Yorm hasn't used it a singular time.
We got Beads Aegis on the Yorm. Okay, we're so far ahead that we feel like we need the 2 defensive relics, as opposed to... I understand the Beads, because you're into Surcat, right? And you, as a solo laner, you despise Surcat ever existing, and she kills you if you don't buy them, right? But the Aegis here, what does that do for you? Yu Huang's damage is a lot, yes, but if Yu
Is it just for early executes on the Thanatos? Is it simple, if not iffy? We'll have to see. Snatty got him anyway.
I don't know, if you're letting yourself get low enough to get executed by Thanatos this early on, I feel like that speaks to another issue entirely. But that is, I don't know, you got to get active with this lead. Tangy's getting active though, but Spirit of Book puts him down. These two have been brawling.
Oh man, that's a tough one to go down on. That's got to be the most frustrating situation of an ADC 1v1 when it's just that last auto trade and you missed one more than you could afford to miss. But this time Book gets the better of it, and overall now 3-0 on this Hachiman to the 0-3 of the Charybdis. So we put a lot of attention to solo, and I think rightfully so, based on how many rotations we've seen from the teams over to the right-hand side. But through all those rotations in the 1-4 to 4-1 of solo, for the Hachiman to be 3-0 right now and have Rage finish, that's a lot of scary stuff to work against if you're the Otters. And as we're seeing here, they can't find picks. Can they even contest this Primal Fury?
They're not in position to do it. They really are kind of late to this right now. But now Snatty is kind of beating on Rascal here, and they're looking for an engage. A lot of damage on the Spirit of Book.
Fish is also not the healthiest. You've got to watch Behemoth and where the Kalina chooses to go. Kiradol will stand and try to separate off to the side. You got Snatty and Kernoin to that right side as well. And the Otters have successfully backed the Templars off for the most part. Snatty is still around and kind of just continue to throw hands. Breastplate of Regrowth is online, so you've got the Speed Demon here too. Primal down to half. Snatty will look for the steal attempt. Can't get through so far. Now left alone. Won't get there in time. The Otters get the Primal Fury. Can they get a pick? The Beads will say no.
That's a great target selection right there from Rascal. He knows that Snatty's somewhat of a threat, but he's not going to kill somebody by himself. Let me go on the Circuit, make sure she can't get in, because if she gets to one of my carries, she could very well just take them down. She's just able to do that, and we prevent her from doing it. Snatty has to go up into the sky, though, get away from this. He's like trying to bait them to see if they react to him going down, but that is well done by Rascal. But now they're trying to get this T1 in response to this gold.
Lament caught by the pluck and dead to Book. Podcast violence in the mid lane. That one favors the ADC. 7-4 reads the scoreboard. The gold lead was starting to shift back to Otters, but the lead that had kind of been established is still standing. Less than 1,000, sure. But when you consider the awkward game states we've had, that shouldn't be the case. Another pluck from Kiradol. This one forces ult from Tainsy. Caught in the dragons. Hit by the mounted archery. Still won't go down. But Kiradol has proven now to be a threat for plucks at any given moment.
Yeah, that is a scary pluck right there. Fortunately for Tainsy, he does live. That was really, really close to just being a absolute... Spirit of Book's already ahead, but Tainsy going down there and not being able to come back for this farm, he's actually going to this beacon fight instead. There's no way you make an impact on this beacon fight. You just go back to your lane and farm up. You got to get back into this game, and that rotation there doesn't do anything for you. It's a little bit of a... I don't know. If he goes down there, that is just so bad for him, because he's down for 40 seconds, give or take, 30 seconds, and he's not farming during that time. He's not getting this purple buff, and he needs to play catch up right now. He's down about half an item on Spirited Book right now, and that is that's not too great if you're this Charybdis, especially with this tanky Thanatos running you down, the Circuit who's going hybrid, this Rune Forge, but Snatty getting gone on.
Ult will be in time to get Snatty away, even if that Agni passive procs won't find the kill. So Snatty able to land the rest of the Templars around the Fire Giant with the Otters, which leaves the ADCs alone. We'll see if they pick a fight. Pyro, potentially a target, bombs out, damage tested. Fish accidentally pulls the Pyro looking for poke, and he's kind of already low. Templar's got to play this safe.
Yeah, Fish has got to back up completely here. I think he has to reset. Try not to do it in the vision of everybody else, though. Doesn't really matter, I guess, because nobody's pulling anything. But it's awkward for Fish for sure because of how much damage he took. I believe the Agni threw some bombs in his direction. Maybe Kleena got some poke as well, but
Agni did about 1,300 damage at that Pyro pit, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's coming online.
That hurt. And Fish needs to not be getting hit by those. Especially because of how impactful he could be in these fights. His player damage numbers are real low right now. But in the late game, he will be able to put in those numbers with how much damage this character can do. He also has the setup for it. Curdle and Kernoin both can provide the setup for him. So once we get there, he will be the threat, but he cannot be taking all that poke at the beginning. Snatty on the right side, though, looking to trade into Rascal, but Lament's on the way, and I think he thinks somebody else is here, but nobody else. We know nobody else is coming, but he doesn't.
Snatty has been kind of unkillable since that ultimate's come online with the combination of itemization, and I feel like it has baited a little bit from the Otters. Every time they see Snatty, they don't drop too much, but they drop enough that I feel like the ultimate being used for Snatty hasn't been the worst thing in the world. What I'm interested to see is, will Snatty be able to use that ult to fight more than in a 2v1 like we saw against Rascal? Because it's so impactful and it directly counters Khepri. We haven't been able to see it used that way as the Otters begin to pull Pyro. Fish not close for a steal. Snatty can't either.
Right there. That's exactly what you need to do if you're the Jormungandr. Just make sure Yuhuang can't walk in. Again, Snatty really cannot steal that. I mean, unless he gets miracle lucky. Agni Bombs will get that every day of the week. Rascal, is he going to get it? No, the Templars secure it.
They dash away. Curdle dead anyway. Book will avoid the maw, turn around. Snatty's in deep, able to get up to the sky and get away to the tier 1 for some safety. So just the gold lost along with Curdle could have been way worse for the Templars, which I feel like we've been saying a lot this game. Yet the lead doesn't reflect the words, you know? And the Otters are starting to make that difference. Add a tower to pocket, that'll swing the gold lead positive, about 500 as it does. You still need to do more, but I'm liking the turnarounds we're making. They're checking a lot of the boxes you've been asking for, Val.
Yeah, they are finally getting together, and they're just making this work. I think that really what Rascal's been doing in these fights has allowed them to do what they want. Right, Rascal is picking his targets well, and he's just making sure they stay out. He is a threat. Right now, he's under threat. Kernoin coming in. He has to go into that World Serpent. Yeah, he's out. All right. Well, Jormungandr pushed the funny "you can't touch me" button.
Love when those buttons are in Smite. It's always so fun.
The funny Nuwa button too. That one is something I would say in Smite 2. It's not really started. It's not funny. But Smite 1, it's the funny Nuwa button.
Nuwa. Man,
I hate those minions that she has. I hate them. As a tank player, I hate those minions.
I just don't like him as a player. It just upset me.
Press fog, sit under tower.
The minions and the Danzaburo clones. Those things hurt me a bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. But the game at hand, we're in Smite 1, 7-5. We've already talked about the gold lead a lot. The kills so far, they haven't been as impactful as maybe even I thought they were gonna be. For amateur scene games, you're kind of accustomed to kills dictating a lot of the pace of game, but they've been so spread across the map in this instance, it hasn't mattered too much. Which ones will appear by the Stitchy B? No, and Kleena.
Behemoth lost his beads for that. That's huge for Kernoin. Look at this! Spirited Book at the dash, and Behemoth's gone!
Gone. Didn't spread the spit, which is massive, so no poison around the teams. Lament plucked back the beads is late. The Scarab's Blessing is on, and the ult's already been used. Kernoin jumps in. That revives Lament, but doesn't matter to Book, who finds the rampage anyway. And the Otters down to 3 members standing, sort of just from nothing. It feels like just a small pick after a small pick that's now led to big danger. As the Templars group up and right, they find Rascal around the corner. Does have ultimate, so should be able to get away, but damage could be done.
Rascal has to be careful here because Hachiman is I think the only person on the map who can reliably kill him right now. I mean, Yu Huang's got a good deal of damage, but he can just get away from him. Hachiman does it too quickly, but it looks like they're trying to get this fire giant. A little bit of poke coming back and forth, but I don't really know if the Cyberpunk Otters can go for this.
Kernoin's been taking some poke. Kaiba already used some bombs, but is still able to bomb Kernoin. Absolutely blown up. That stops the fire giant attempt. I thought maybe with all the bombs forced from Kaiba that we would see the Templars just hard commit to the fire. But instead, without their jungler, they've got to back away, and it leaves the Cyberpunk Otters as the ones to pull the fire giant and the Templars to go for a response. You've got Snatty. He's got ultimate. The fire down a quarter. Snatty in the pit. Cure it all too. Fire low. It's stolen away by the Templars. Instantly to the sky is Snatty. Can't save Book. Where do you go next? The landing is onto the Kleena. The shells are out. The damage is turned around. And Snatty won't pay. What? Snatty kills Kaiba through that. That's disgusting. And the Thanatos will lead them on to the chase. Can he survive that chase is a different story. But oh man, what a play. Should go down, he does. Oh my god, what a play from Skyshire Templars.
Okay, first off, Sickening Strike took that, and that makes me sick, for one. That is super unfortunate. I think that comes down to the unfortunate timing of Kaiba maybe just being a bit too early on the bomb or a bit too late on it. And then the fact that Snatty kills Kaiba there is so rough. That is, and that just allows him to run away with the use of that regrowth breastplate. Makes it take so long to catch him. Kernoin's in, though?
Gets a jump away, so we'll be all right. So I think we can continue the breakdown, maybe.
What is Behemoth doing?
This is ambitious. You're going to be half health. And there's the in-cage. What a save from Rascal, playing the offensive lineman there and keeping the quarterback safe.
You know, all this negative that I've said about Rascal's build and his choice in relics. Mans is 5, 1, and 3. He's still doing exactly what he needs to do. Is he gonna steal? I hope he steals this. No, he didn't get it. He gets CC'd out, but Sirket's literally just burnt to a crisp. I hope you like fried scorpion. Oh my gosh.
Ugh. I don't.
Yeah, I've never tried scorpion.
Great call. Disgusting to imagine.
I've never tried scorpion before.
I feel like it would be so crunchy. Not a big crunchy guy.
100%. It would definitely be very crunchy.
And it's got to be very, like, savory is not even the right word, I'd imagine. Ugh, okay. Anyway. Primal down 10-9. This game remains close. I mean, looks like an earthquake hit the charts. That's crazy. And it can kind of still go any direction. You've got fire only on Fish in the mid lane and Cure It All in support. Tier 2 sieged out by the Templars. A dash in from Cure It All won't find much. But in terms of structures, Templars are making it work, but it feels like the fights are so overwhelmingly favoring the Otters.
I'm sorry. I chuckled there because I knew Kuradal was gonna do that. If you weren't speaking, I would have said Kuradal's gonna pluck here. Like that I knew he was gonna do that. It's just I don't know. His body language just told me he was going to pluck. There was zero reason for him to do that, but I knew he was gonna do it. But right now, the Skyshires have just that swipe on the fire giant, and then how much time they were able to buy. Snatty lived for so long. Now objective going in their way. They've cleaned up their objective play so much this game, but Snatty might have to walk away here. Spirit of Book looks to be the target. Look at this Kleena floating on the side here, or floating in the wall.
Snatty has to ult. I was considering the word greedy with the ultimate there, but right as Snatty started to use it, almost played it too close to the sun. Spirited Book now alone in this tier 2. Cure It All joins. TP's out, no longer alone. But the Otters, they're looking to siege. They've got 5 strong. They have Kleena around the side. That Tear the Veil won't find a lot, but the Screech sure does. And that's on to Fish, who's been quiet this game. And it'll be harder when you're poked out.
Yeah,
oh, Fish has the right lane.
Yeah.
Kernoin.
Map
cooking.
play right there. I personally really like that Kernoin's doing that because realistically, he does not do much on it because Snatty had to reset. And as long as they're not threatening Phoenix, Kernoin really didn't. There's not much he can contribute to that. and him going for the map play, but it looks like they're getting involved now.
I guess Curadoll's just dead. All right, Fish too. Why not kill him too while he's stuck in the middle of everybody? Fish will go down. A crazy play from the Otters. They're just finding picks that are being flung at them by the Templars, but Snatty up down finds Lament, gets good damage onto the Jormungandr as well. Do you make a play off this if you're the Templars? That's their choice. They call things off, but Snatty wants to go in. If that scythe hit, maybe a different play, but it does not. And I do have to point out one thing. Looking at the build of Lament, a lot of the bright yellows I've been seeing, kind of forgot this item existed. I'll keep it a buck with you.
I love
Absolution has been coming out and abated me into thinking we've seen some late beads, but a lot of it's been the ultimate being used. So really big pickup there from Lament, and want to make sure I corrected myself.
This item is one of my favorites in the game that has ever existed. I love this item. Any excuse to build it is or if I can slot it in solo lane, it is one of my favorites. I love it. It gives you a lot of freedom that a lot of characters don't have, especially with the short duration CC immunities. On a character like Khepri who has none, it feels really good because when you burn that ultimate, you're able to get that CC immunity. Granted, you don't want to burn Scarab's Blessing solely for CC immunity. But a character like Ganesha, who's engaging with it, you're then CC immune to go in with it, right? There's also other characters that don't have the CC immune wind up on their ultimate, but is able to get it with that absolution. It just feels nice to get. You're also able to save teammates with it. Is Colonel going to steal this? Please! Okay, Otters got it. Thank goodness. If Colonel got that, I don't know, I'd call the police.
The right side of the map, Fire Giant was looked at, turns into a Tainsy look at, and a dead Charybdis at that to Kernoin. A big pickup with the ADC off the map. The Templars could set up for fire and could pull it. You've got Spirited Book. Snatty playing that positioner, that spacer. Kernoin just trying to stay alive to the left with Behemoth nearby. Fire started up by Book and company. Damage onto it, but Fire not dead yet. And the Otters are trying to break through the line to get closer, but they can't get through to Fire so far. Snatty and Kernoin are playing this perfect. Snatty up, down, on the Agni, but into the Fire Pit when it's low. Go the Otters, and they'll take that Fire Giant too. But now do you live? Lament is low. The crits are out. The ult is there to keep Lament alive. Still not dead. Curadoll's trying to break through. Snatty's got the movement speed into the back line. Can't find Lament, but Fish will lock it in, but they're going to lose their ADC to the Kalina. And Behemoth's not done. The dash forward for the double kill. And once again, a Fire Giant steal. This time, it's detrimental to the Skyshire Templars.
That fell apart so bad. We just didn't check Behemoth, and Behemoth was able to slip in and steal that. We did switch our focus from the Jormungandr and Khepri to the Agni, and then we just couldn't find Behemoth, and Behemoth was already hiding in that wall. We found Behemoth, and Behemoth is no longer. He was past tense now. Damn, he exploded, but it's a little bit too late now because we've lost Fire Giant. EFG at this point. That is a real scary point. This is risky from Kernoin. I guess not too bad. He is pretty tanky, but we got to be checking all of our bases there. That was a risky Fire Giant to go for in general. Yu Huang doesn't have the Agni secure, for one, but it's also awkward if he does burn that ultimate. And then you have the Kalina who can shred through the objective and also could try for the steal, and he did get it. He's got this Bumba Spear. And that just, even if he dashes in there, he gets restored to full health if he secures that. That's all the right pieces came together for the Cyberpunk Otters there around that objective. And it just... The Cyberpunk Otters have been playing their objectives the Skyshires have been playing the objectives so well this game, and that one just, it slipped. There's cracks in the armor.
A lot of cracks in the armor. Yeah. It's starting to feel like. I think the biggest worry for me is, I not worry. I think the biggest thing I notice that seems to have changed how this game could have gone. The game could have ended there if that early pick from Tainsy that kind of seemed, like just a Fire Giant pick hadn't happened. I think the Otters have a chance at maybe winning the game there. You had no structure damage for it. And obviously that was the reason the Templars pulled it to begin with. You've got to start keeping Tainsy alive, but you can't really do that because Lament's having a hard time staying alive in these last few fights.
Yeah, it's difficult to stay in this matchup in particular because the Circuit is just on top of him. If his beads is not up, Tainsies is probably just dead. The amount of even with this tanky build, the flat pen he get or the protection reduction he gets from the Stone of Binding, the amount of damage he's able to do with it.
Oh, I thought maybe. I thought just maybe that would be the steal.
I swear, it's just too many steals this game, man. There's so much threat onto this Charybdis that if he doesn't have his relics, he's not gonna be able to react to in time. And I think it speaks to how well Kernoin is playing this Circuit. By the way, this guy, I haven't mentioned it yet, but this guy has been absolutely bonkers with these whip around taunts. This guy is absolutely nuts on this Circuit. Oh, Rascal getting kind of shredded.
You've got Book and Snatty. They've been kind of lurking together a lot. If it's not Kernoin and Snatty in the front line, it's Snatty sort of overwatching Book in the back line, waiting for an opportunity to use the ultimate. Now at 34, with Fire not up on the table, it's a dance for both the Stygian Beacon for Phoenix damage, as well as you've got that Primal Fury up. Who makes that first step? You don't want to overcommit for the Beacon for sure, but Primal's still something to be aware of. And I mean, Fire is on Kaiba. It's the most relevant Fire Giant on the map currently, but otherwise, it's kind of even Stevens, no?
I mean, right now you're kind of just waiting for this reset. You're waiting for the Fire Giant to come back up again because you've got what, maybe 5 seconds on it now. Like it is about to fall off. It literally just fell off as I'm mentioning it. It's a reset, and we gotta wait. We gotta posture better for this fight. We need to find where this Kleena is going to be. We need to stop Kaiba from coming in and stealing it if we're gonna pull it. We also just need to not pull it when those two are alive because of how good the steal potential is. I just think that it could have just been played better by the Skyshire.
One thing I know that I've seen used against Kleena in the past is kind of early wards. You sort of place it like one phase up, one brick up, one square up from where you normally do. You look for Kleena that way. Kernoin looked for Tains, he couldn't find it. Maybe that's the play, but like you said, you've got to do something to be more hyper aware. I do like the proximity ward from Kernoin. That could be really useful into the Kleena for sure. But like you said, you just have to be ever present.
I was about to mention that the proximity ward and the Raven wards both are very good tools for the Kleena. You place that down, at least in a location where you think she'd sneak into, but Lament under threat? No, they're backing away. It's a interesting. No, Kleena's in the wall. I thought she was out of the wall. I really did. I couldn't tell. It's not something I'm used to. I've been casting Smite 2 a lot too. It's just like I'm not used to being inside and outside the wall. She's kind of dancing. They're really just skittish on this fight.
Is this the go button? Kernoin looks for Behemoth, gets the ult off, but there's Scarab's Blessing to answer, but look who's ready for it! It's Snatty! But Behemoth died first, so the execute will not counter the Blessing this time. Snatty's got to reset around. The Skyshire Templars, they're in a choke point, and they're damn sure getting choked out! Double kill for Behemoth! Make it more! It's a triple kill! But for Kernoin, shuts it down, and Fish starting to find that damage, too. Already jumped up about 6k in this fight. And the Templars have 2 left standing to the 3 of Otters. There's not as much chance here for a fire, but there's a chance for a pick. There's a root, not gonna find the pluck. Matter of fact, Tainsy almost died to Fish during that.
The thing was, you put the Skyshires in a corridor, but Fish was not in that corridor with them. He was on the outside waiting. He did so much damage to Behemoth and Rascal there. There was just so much. And also, side note, that Yu Huang can't push the Jormungandr, but he can certainly proc that passive. And you know what that passive does? Make Jormungandr take more damage. And that Jormungandr disappeared real quick. That is a dream scenario for a Yu Huang there. Getting a couple people with that push in a tight corridor. Easy peasy damage right there. And that's just exactly what you want from the Skyshires, especially because that fight really was falling apart for you. You did not want that to go the way of the Cyberpunk Otters, because that's probably just an end if that goes any better for them. If one more person dies, that's probably just an end. And
Book just rearranged their whole build, by the way.
What do you mean?
Spirit
they sold their crit.
They sold their crit. They switched out the dominance as well for an Odysseus bow. So and Rascal's been sitting on a spectral armor, so I guess Book felt impacted from the previous fight.
There's 2 spectral armors. Now those items, their passives are useless. I love that. The passives on that item are useless because now there's no crit. I mean, Circuit has crit, but that's like in the ultimate, and that's like 20%, I think, right now. And okay, if Circuit's hitting you with those crits consistently, I think that's another issue entirely. Especially the Jormungandr.
The
But
spectral from Serket's kind of hilarious too, just as an aside.
well, yeah, she's trying to hit the
it's so
Charybdis.
mean. It's so funny. I know, it's just so mean.
Yeah, I think that right now, that's a really good play by Spirited Book, switching up that build to make it so that item is less effective. And now what? Is Jormungandr going to back and sell? Is Jormungandr pressing tab to look to see, I got to trade out this item now because they don't have as much crit? Or do we feel like the Serket's valuable enough to have that for? I really don't.
Here we go. Fire's at half. Kleina's dealing damage, but not enough so far. The fire's still at half and just now let go by the Otters to heal up. The Templars are looking for an engage off of this, but Kernoin's been left alone with Behemoth in the backline. Does get the dash away. That resets it for the time being. So Fire left alone. Kernoin very low, enough to have to be respected now. Kleina can just kill you at that much health. Snatty in, Fire has. Snatty almost dead, has to go to the sky. The Fire down to a quarter. Snatty has to make a choice. That choice is a kill rascal. The Otters get the Fire, but who gets the fight? Kuradal's low, Book's almost dead too. This could be disaster for the Templars. Everything is going wrong, and how do you correct it? How do you right those wrongs? So far you can't. You certainly can't. Fish, the last one alive. The Otters with EFG. Fish is dead too. A triple kill for Behemoth, and that's going to be a 2-0 for the Cyberpunk Otters.
Man, everything looked so good at the start of that. We took down Raskal with the execute and got the Scarab's Blessing, and then everything just fell apart. Mr. Behemoth. Level 100 Behemoth.
Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast. He's looking like a beast, but level 100 Behemoth just did so much damage. And then Kaiba was able to get enough damage off for his death to not matter. Khepri kept the Charybdis alive. So much damage was just put out, and it's just the resulting fight meant Skyshire's go down. Everybody fell down, and it's just it all fell apart. It looked so promising at the start for Skyshire there.
That was a great game, though.
Really was.
What made style of back and forth where it felt like the back and forth was mostly due to not even, I don't want to say mistakes, because while there were some, you were definitely calling out the correct ones, it felt like it was just there was almost so much respect on the map to the correct things that it got in everyone's head, and everyone was aware of everything at every given moment. You're aware of the Sobek flux, you're aware of the execute, you're aware of the damage from Book. You are so aware that you almost have decision paralysis, and it feels like the Cyberpunk Otters were the team that knew how to take advantage of that decision paralysis, because Kleina in level 100 Behemoth knew how to fight into that.
Yeah, Behemoth knew exactly what he needed to do in that fight, and it's Kleina has a unique playstyle in that she doesn't fight you directly. She doesn't want to fight you directly, especially into a matchup like Serket. She does not want to fight that character directly because she gets folded like a lawn chair. The
Yeah.
Kleina wants to fight you where you cannot fight her. You take her, she starts the fight from in the wall, and then when she comes out of it, you're already taking a chunk of damage, and then she fights with you. Then she takes the portal damage, the open the veil. She takes the screeching damage from that, and then she just takes you down from there. She gets the poke, she trades into you, and then she goes for the kill. She doesn't want the direct-on fight that Serket's looking for to try to catch you out, catch you alone, pick you off, and get that last breath on you. And Behemoth did exactly what he needed to do.
And made it look so good. It's so easy to forget how game 1 ended, right? That's back-to-back games in the 2-0. Where Behemoth ended the game on a triple kill. That was just a simply better played moment. But overall, what a set. The nostalgia trip for me worked out. It was fun casting with you. And of course, for Ragnarok Smite League, make sure you check out the Discord link, get involved, all their YouTube content. I'm excited to see when they eventually go to Smite 2, but it's awesome to see a Smite 1 League thriving and kicking. And that's going to do it for us tonight. I've been Malum, joined by Not a Valve Game. And a big shout out, of course, to Red Rosie Panda, who was on the 1s and 2s tonight and made everything look so clean as always. Have a safe night, and we'll see you next time on Ragnarok Smite League.